Hey up, shaggers. So last night I went and watched Imaginary, and I've seen on Twitter or X or whatever you kids call it today that people are complaining it's like Annabelle or it's like a rip off of Chucky. It's not. It's got elements of it, you know, because it's a doll. But if it's a doll, it's gonna have elements of it, isn't it? It's a killer like Teddy or kid's toy, isn't it? But technically it's not. Anyways, let's get into it. Gotta say, it's PG-13, which is a red flag for me because as soon as I went into the cinemas, I was watching it and I was just getting mad at people around me because people today, I feel, especially in the area that I live in, just do not have any don't have common courtesy when they're around people. They're loud and obnoxious all the time, and I think part of that is because it's PG-13, so you get kids in there of all ages, and same with some adults like that as well, and they should be ashamed of themselves, just all around cinema slobs that make it a bad experience, because all you can hear is them, you know, even though it's loud in cinemas, you can still hear them even on the quiet part, which kind of ruins the PG-13 horror experience for me. But other than that, I actually thought the movie was alright. Not as bad as some people are saying, and I know some people enjoy it as well. All it is it's just an imaginary friend. This girl's got an imaginary friend, and she doesn't understand why some bad things have happened to her when she was younger. She's a grown woman by now, but she's forgot the events because trauma, you know, she forgot all about it. And for some reason, she feels like she needs to move, because she's moved out of that house. She's happily married, you know, stepkids. And she moves back into the house with a new family. And her young stepdaughter starts walking around with a doll, and bad things start happening to her. And it's not a doll; it's a teddy bear. It's a teddy bear called Chauncey. The bear design's actually pretty good, just a standard bear. In no way, shape, or form does it look like how Chucky did in the Child's Play remake. You don't want that, do you? Ooh. Anyway, Imaginary is your run-of-the-mill demon. Using the teddy bear to take a child into its own world, which is kind of it's got some insidious roots into it, where they go into the world of the monster, the imaginary friend, at the end of the movie. But this movie does pack a little bit of gore for a PG-13 film, which I did enjoy, but I don't think hardcore horror fans that want all-out gore without much substance or story will like this one, because it's very slow. It's got a lot of talking in it, a lot of character development, trying to get you to care for the characters before really bad things happen towards the end of the movie. It's got your regular crazy old woman in it that seems to know everything about imaginary friends, and she's been watching them, but that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to give you any spoilers about this movie whatsoever. The child actors are pretty decent in this. I'm not a big fan of child actors, so I don't really think a lot of them do a good job, because I haven't been in that craft for very long. But the child actor in this, I genuinely felt sorry for her in some parts of this movie. This film does have a few practical effects puppeteering, and it looks great, but it does have, the other stuff, which people don't like if they recognise that it is digital, which I think is ridiculous, because the film isn't bad just because you realise that it's digital effects, which I think is fucking crazy. I mean, when I walked out of this film, there were people walking out in anger, and I just didn't get it. So what the hell, man? What is wrong with you? I just don't understand that frame of mind with a film. I hear someone even shouted at me. I don't know what they said, because I was talking to a friend on the phone. It's telling them that I enjoyed it, and they heard me say that, and they started shouting at me, and I just ignored them, because fuck them. But in a nutshell, this girl's got an imaginary friend. The stepmother notices that it's the same imaginary friend that she had when she was a kid, and you have to do a ritual in order to go into that imaginary friend's world forever, where you can imagine whatever you want and live that life in there as happy as possible. You can picture anything and it happens, but they feed off of the child when they're there, but you don't really know it. And you have to do a ritual like cut yourself, collect things that you don't like she collects bugs and stuff, and to open the door to go into the other world. And then you go into the other world, and and it looks great. I loved it. It's very labyrinth-like, and you find out these doors to other kids' bedrooms or houses, which reminded me of Monsters Inc., which I thought were really fucking cool. That world looks great, very imaginative, but still I feel like this is one of those films that a lot of people are just going to hate. just because there was something in it that they didn't like. Because I feel like the movie crowd today either loves something or hates something. It's very difficult to find somebody that can just say, yeah, we're alright. And it were alright. I don't put much trust into movies that come out, horror movies, especially horror movies that come out early in the year, like January, February and March, because they're usually terrible. They put them there just to get them out of the way. But this one is pretty good. But I think they still get lost in each shuffle. And in a year or so, people won't even remember it. Or, you won't be able to find it on physical media. And with something that I've noticed recently in films, there's agendas for films. This one doesn't have one. I didn't notice it anyway. It's just a movie written to be a decent horror film. That's all it is. And I genuinely was entertained watching it. And I really hope you do too. I believe there's only one death in this, and you see a little bit of it. Most of it's off screen, but you still do get blood in this one. I feel like if you like artsy stuff, especially towards the end, with the the background that they use, it looks great. And I think people that like to see imaginative things put into film will really enjoy the ending of this movie. Yeah, so it's just about an imaginary friend that's an evil spirit that just wants to take this girl. Basically, the movie in one. It's nothing deep or anything. It's just mindless entertainment, and I hope everybody that watches it enjoys it. And if you don't, all right, man, all right, that's awesome too. Might not be everybody's cup of tea, and that's really cool because people today, if you've got to dislike it if they dislike it, and fuck that. And it's not a Chucky rip-off, Child's Play rip-off. I feel like the people saying that are mistaken. Heavily mistaken. I feel like they're just seeing something. Oh, it's a children's toy. It's a rip-off of Child's Play. It isn't at all. Maybe, little influenced by it. But I think it's mainly influenced by... Well, you can definitely see traits of Annabelle in this, for sure. For sure. And speaking of movies with imaginary friends, and if you can check this out, but if not, I really do suggest you check that out. In my opinion, the ultimate imaginary friend movie, Drop Dead Fred. Incredible film. I don't want to say a thing about that movie because I want you to go in open, just not knowing anything about it. Drop Dead Fred is the dog's bollocks. Anyways, if you've seen Imaginary, what did you think? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Let me know in the comment section down below and join our fucking cult. See they. Also, don't miss 2024's The Are Scares, which premieres on Sunday, and I'll be presenting the best cinematography in horror for 2023. Anyways, see they.